Hello everyone. Today we are going to be doing an extreme detangle, dematting, deep conditioning regimen for my daughter's extremely matted, extremely dry 4C hair. This is how her hair looks after we take it out of the twist in her previous hair video. Now, keep in mind, this is after she slept on it for a day, so the roots are probably even more matted than they were when we took them out of the twist. And if I were to do anything with it now, there would be a huge fight. I can't pull it, I can't get a comb through it, I can't get a brush through it. There's a ton of attitude here, a ton of 6-year-old attitude. So today we're going to be using Bentonite Clay. Bentonite Clay will completely restore and revitalize and renew the hair follicles, making them a lot easier to manage. You can get this at my shop, thebeautyloft.com, or you can get this at any other shop that sells 100% Bentonite Clay. So to get started, we're going to need Bentonite Clay. Make sure you are using a Bentonite Clay with no additives and no fillers. And we're going to need apple cider vinegar. Make sure whatever apple cider vinegar you use is with the mother. And I like using tea tree oil for its antibacterial properties to help me cleanse while I detangle and deep condition. And some type of bowl and a spoon. I'm using a metal spoon, by the way, but I would suggest that you use a wooden spoon. I didn't think about it when I was doing the video because I think I was kind of rushing, but using metal is not recommended when you're using any type of these healing clays. I don't really like to use metal at all when I'm dealing with anything because metal could deactivate some of the healing properties in any of the natural remedies and or tinctures that we create. So you're going to use a couple spoonfuls of Bentonite Clay. I think that was more than a couple, but make sure you're keeping in mind that you'll be using this over the whole head, so use as much as possible. I'm going to mix it slowly because my bowl is smaller, but if you had a bigger bowl, you could probably mix this really fast. You could even use a whisk if you want to. I am looking for a conditioner-like consistency. You don't want it too thick because if you make it too thick, it'll make it hard to work with and it might take forever to dry. But if you make it too thin, it won't stick to the hair follicles like you need them to. So just work slowly and make sure you make enough to cover your whole head so that you don't have to stop in the middle of this and make some more. Now you're going to take your tea tree oil and add about 2 tablespoons full of tea tree oil into your mixture. Oh, look at that. Look at the bubbles. You see all that activating with the apple cider vinegar? That's good. That's really good. Make sure you mix it all up so that it is evenly distributed through your mixture, so that it will be evenly distributed through your hair. As you can see, guys, her curls are not very defined. The roots are matted. I think you can see the attitude in her face from the front. She doesn't want me to touch her hair right now. Every little strand is connected to something else, and it hurts. So to start, I'm going to put on some gloves, which I may remove later. This will just help me in the beginning to start working that clay mixture in. Make sure you put a towel there and you're going to just start taking the mixture and working it in her hair. As you can see, she thinks it's going to start hurting, so she's anticipating the pain. But all I'm doing is putting the clay mixture in her hair. I'm not combing right now. I'm not finger detangling. All I'm doing right now is just rubbing that section of hair and saturating that section of hair with the clay mixture. The worst part of this right now is just going to be the pulling apart, the separating, because of course that's still going to hurt. But rubbing the mixture in gives you a lot of slippage, so this will not hurt at all. You're just going to be working the clay into that area, and eventually when you get enough slippage and when it's saturated enough, you can start finger detangling. Let me get close for you guys so you guys can really see that. As you can see, the roots are slowly but surely separating and the curls are popping, which means you're getting enough slippage to start detangling with your fingers or with a comb. For the sides and the front of her hair, because they're thinner, I don't mind using a comb, but I'm just going to keep working it in for a little bit more until I'm okay with how much slippage and how much clay is on the hair. Now if you're using a comb, you're going to start from the tip. Make sure you're holding it so I was going to say the baby, but make sure you're holding it so that you don't feel the combing from the tip. Just gonna try to get it in focus for you guys. Slowly but surely. If you make sure you take it slow and you make sure you're holding it hard enough, you're not gonna lose much hair here. Her hair has been in twists for quite a long time, so I'm expecting a little bit of hair loss, but I mean extra hair loss from like being super rough. But as you can see, the clay pretty much worked on the roots. I didn't have to do much on the roots, and I'm probably not going to do too much, but the comb is pretty much slipping through the hair with the clay. I'm just getting out tiny itty bitty knots. I also use a detangling brush, like a Denman brush, after the comb. It gives me a little more control and it does less pulling, and it's a lot more pain-free after a while. So you can alternate and keep working with that section until you're satisfied with the amount of detangling you've done. So as you can see, the comb slides through effortlessly. That means I'm done with that section and it's time to move on to another section. So you're going to do the exact same thing you did with the last section, very patiently, alternating between your fingers to a comb to a brush, making sure you're saturating the section. You're going to do the exact same thing in the next section. So I'm going to speed this video up for you guys. So we are halfway done with the bottom of her hair. We still have a bunch more to do at the top, but as you can see, the bottom is elongated, it is detangled, it is stretched, the curls are defined. I could pretty much run my fingers through them if I wanted to, and you can see the difference just in the top. You can see a huge difference in the top from the bottom. I love how the curls look. I love how they feel. So I don't know if I mentioned this before, but we started with wet hair. So the top of her hair is dry has dried out from me working on the bottom. So we're going to wet the top of her hair again, just with water, no conditioner. You don't want to coat the hair with anything before the clay can penetrate the hair follicle. And like I said, we're going to wet the hair and we're going to start working on the top. At this point, I've taken off my gloves because the middle of her head is thicker than the side. So I need my fingers and all the help I can get with detangling the top and the middle of her head. And we are finally done. Her whole head has been detangled and combed through and coated with the clay mixture. Of course, I got a bunch of clay on her face. She thinks it's funny. She thinks it's fun. But as you can see, her hair has a bunch of movement and the clay is drying right now. Remember, you're not going to wash it out immediately. You want the clay to dry. Look at the movement of her hair. Look at the definition of the curls. The old hair smell is gone. The tea tree oil, along with the clay, has cleansed while it detangled, and I am loving it. Bunch of movement, and every strand has been detangled. So now we are going to let this dry for about 20 minutes. You want it to get as hard and crunchy as you can possibly stand. And then you're going to wash it out with an oil, like a coconut oil or olive oil. I like coconut oil because coconut oil has, again, antibacterial properties. And it's like a shampoo in an oil. So that's what we'll be doing. So be right back. So we have washed her hair with the coconut oil and we are done. Her curls are bouncy, her hair is detangled. I can run my fingers through it. Let me try to get a better focus for you guys. You have now detoxed your hair, you have cleansed your hair, you have revitalized your hair. Your hair should be good to go in whatever style you want it to. Again, I didn't use shampoo because I don't like what it does to her hair, but it's completely clean. It's squeaky clean, in matter of fact. There's no residue from the clay. You have detangled and dematted and all that in one. Look at my fingers running through a couple snags, but you know, that's curly hair. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you like it. Thanks.